till now we have talked about the what you call extraction of image from the background depending on one, the properties of the external stimuli, two, the readiness of the person who is trying to perceive the object, and three, what we were talking towards the end of the third lecture was the idea of drawing the contours so that the image can very easily be extracted out from the background. So, today we would be talking about form perception, wherein we would try to emphasize on the organization of form, how groups and patterns they emerge. And in this context, we would be talking about the Gestalt principles. Gestalt basically means whole, complete. According to Kohler, Gestalt would be basically formed from ambiguous stimuli. So, how you try to complete your perception based on whatever is available to you, okay, that is that holistic part of the percept is the Gestalt principle. The core principle is called the law of praegnance, okay, and then there are a whole set of laws which are considered as part of Gestalt principles. Now, law of praegnance basically says that the simplest organization is one that demands minimum cognitive effort. Okay. In German, praegnance means clarity. So, those cues in the external environment that does not require too much of mental effort from your side in order to decipher the figure from the background. Okay. Those organizations basically would constitute the law of praegnance. So, that basically means that as human beings we would also always like to minimize our cognitive engagement in terms of deciphering the image from the background. So, simplest organizations would always require a minimal cognitive effort, and therefore, minimum time, minimum effort, best type of mental representation that you derive from the external environment. This is what would be considered as the principle of praegnance. Okay. So, simpler and symmetrical forms, these are the two type of forms which are very easily perceived, because it is too simple and because it is too symmetrical. Therefore, you do not have to cognitively engage yourself in too much of derivation of extraction of cues, derivation of cues, arriving at a conclusion, combining them, and then finally deriving a meaning out of it. Hence, simpler symmetrical forms will always be perceived very easily by human beings. This is what the law of praegnance says. Now, look at this very circle on the screen. You have one circle, the second circle, third, the fourth, and the fifth. Okay. Now, all of them have come one by one, and then they form a pattern out of it now. Now, when you look at this very pattern, you started from the first, came up to the whole set of 5 rings. Now, look at the third image there. Okay, you could have sensed it that way also. No? So, all types of combinations where you realize that there are small pieces cut out of the two converging rings there, but then we do not perceive things in such fragmented order. Rather, we always look at them as a whole, as a complete. You provide various colors to the rings, and this is what we call as Olympic rings. Okay. Now, this is the logo of Rio Olympics, which is scheduled to be held next year. Okay. And you do not see all these smaller elements, you do not detach them and perceive them separately, rather you always perceive them together. So, simpler, symmetrical, and this is what the law of praegnance says. Look at this very logo. You have 3 distinct components, but they are too simple. Okay. Also, they form a symmetry, simpler, symmetrical. Okay. This is what the law of praegnance says, and hence, when you promote tourism in Norway, you suddenly feel, oh, the basic components which defines what Norway means. Okay. 3 elements put in a very simpler format, put in a very symmetrical order, and this is what law of pregnance is. Okay. Perception is very easy, deriving sense is very easy, remembering is very easy. Okay. Cognitive effort is minimized, okay, and then you also have the best of the outcome that you want. Now, law of pregnance is the core of the Gestalt principles, and then there are whole other sets of laws. We will talk about them one by one. The second law is the law of symmetry. Law of symmetry basically says that similar objects that always tend to group together. Okay. We first took, in the case of law of pregnance, we took the example of circles. Okay. So, we will continue with the earlier examples of circle, okay, and then again go to the example which has a logo there. Okay. Look at this very video.
You find 4 circles here, and finally, you have 16 of them now. So, although they are independent circles, we tend to perceive them as groups. The colorless circles form one group now, while the rows of red circles form another one. Now, let us make this situation a little more complex. Okay. We had just 4 circles finally leading to 16 circles, and we had the red color ones and the colorless circles. No? So, this is how we were trying to look at the formation of groups based on similarity. Now, if you have some a much more complex situation, once again you have a row of 4 colorless circles multiplying into 4 rows. Just as the previous example, the blue circles form a group. When all of them become similar right now, okay, with their blue colors, the ones which are bigger either horizontally, vertically or diagonally, they tend to form a group. So, we basically look at the difference, okay, and depending on what you are actually trying to look at, okay, you will always search for certain reason based on which you can form a group, so that you perceive it better. Look at this very logo. Okay. It is a very commonly known logo to us, okay. And actually when you see here, you find the law of similarity being used. Okay. What we discussed was that similar objects, they will tend to come together, okay. And here you have 3 different representations, okay. All of them, they tend to group together because they follow the law of similarity.
The next law is the law of proximity. Proximity means nearness. So, objects which are nearer to each other, they always tend to form a group. Once again, we will continue with the example of circles, okay, and then again take an example of a logo.
Initially, you see 4 columns of green circles that are equidistant, but when the 2 columns move closer to each other, okay, they tend to move on the 2 ends, they form 2 distinct groups. The first 2 columns form one group, while the remaining 2, they form another group. Okay. So, this is the law of proximity. Initially, they were seen as distinct columns, okay, because they were equidistant. Okay. But the moment you have a separation, now you see that you have one column and the other column, although color and the size, the form remains the same. This is the law of proximity.
Now, look at this very logo. Okay. Here you have structures which basically forms honeycomb, but then they very easily, because they are nearer to each other, you can very easily consider that they form one group, okay, and you advertise for a particular event along with the sponsors, the major sponsors of the event. Okay. This is how law of proximity is beautifully utilized in the world of visual communication. Look at this very still image from Beijing Olympics. Okay. Now, here what you find is that there are a whole lot of arrangements, and then you have when you look at this very image, you look at things little differently. Now, this very segment, they tend to form one group, this very segment tend to form one group, this segment forms another group, okay. And this is how you have different types of representations here, where although the bigger screen carries whole lot of things, when we look at it, we combine separate parts together, and then we try to assign a meaning to the external stimulus that we have been looking at. Okay. Now, law of proximity, the way it defines here is that you have things which are closer to each other. So, one set of performers are on the left hand side who are closer to each other, and then there is a big distance between the other group. So, the left and right very easily gets divided. Those in the center, of course, they have a different color of the costume, but then they are again separated from these two groups, okay. But then within themselves they are very close to each other, they are very nearer to each other, and hence the law of proximity helps us consider that this is group 1, this is group 2, this is group 3, they are all very symmetrical, okay. But then because of their nearness to one group compared to the other, based on their proximity, we consider them to be forming 3 separate groups. We come to the next law, that is law of closure. Law of closure basically says that if you have a discontinuous shape and when you perceive it, we always tend to complete it, okay. And this completeness is based on whatever we are familiar with. Let us take this very example. Again we are banking on the example of circle, and then again we will move on to an example of a logo.
You see a circle right now, another one and yet another one. Although you see 11 different circles, but you perceive them as a ring, their individual identity is not taken into account. Okay. So, this is an important thing here, that when you look at the continuous things, okay, when you look at the patterns that emerge, okay, the discontinuous shapes is perceived as a complete, okay, if it represents something very familiar. You look at this famous visual icon. Now, this is a logo of WWF. If you visit their site, okay, you see this image. You see here where I am moving the cursor right now. Okay, you see WWF. You visit their site and you see exactly this very representation. Now, when you actually see it, okay, you can very easily make out what you are looking at, and you see it as panda because the gaps that you see, you try to close it, you try to fill it, and therefore, this is not looked upon as some black filled areas against a white background, but rather it is looked upon as an animal.
We come to the next law, that is the law of continuity. Okay. Law of continuity basically says that continuous figures are always preferred. Now, till now we were repeatedly taking examples of circles. Now, let us take example of straight lines, and then we will look at one of the events from Beijing Olympics to understand the law of continuity.
The law of continuity says that continuous figures are preferred by us. Okay. So, something that runs in continuation, you can see a bold straight line entering from the left side of the screen. Now, another one enters from the right side. Although they are two separate lines as you initially saw, but when they join, you see them as one straight line. When two more straight lines enter from top and bottom respectively, you perceive an xy coordinate. When two of these lines become red, green, blue or yellow, they are perceived as one continuous figure. When they are all black, you perceive them as xy coordinate. Let us look at another example of a law of continuity. Here you see dark black circles appearing on the screen. These circles are perceived as collective unit because they share a common feature of direction. Now, initially you look at it as a straight line, okay, and the moment this the other line, the curve one comes there, you perceive it differently. You see as if it represents some type of direction. If you visit Indigo airline, okay, this is one of the airlines that you must have certainly seen here. Okay. When you look at their logo, okay, actually you see what you saw here. Okay. Now, when you look here, look at your screen, this very part where I am moving the cursor, okay, you actually see this law of continuity. Okay. This image, although this is a collection of dots, something that you saw right now in this animation, okay, but the moment you see here, no, it gives a direction, and it makes you feel that fine, you are actually looking at something visual representation of airline. Now, let us look at this video. You see here the law of continuation working.
The next Gestalt principle is the law of symmetry. We have been talking about symmetrical objects, no, right from we began with our discussion on pregnance. Now, law of symmetry says that symmetrical objects, they will always be collectively perceived. Let us take the example of these squares, and then we will also move to an example taking again a logo into account.
Look at the sky blue square and the blue square dropping out of it. This overlap helps you see another square. Let us look at these squares without any color. We will perceive them as two squares. When the top and the bottom parts are removed, we clearly see a small square, but when they are brought back, we perceive two big squares overlaying each other. This demonstrates that in spite of distance, symmetrical objects are collectively perceived.
This is the logo of CSC, which basically shows you how beautifully the law of symmetry can be used to visually represent one of the firms. The next law of Gestalt principle is the law of common fate. Law of common fate says that objects which share common features, they are grouped together. So, objects in our perceptual field, okay, that function or move together in similar manner, they will always be perceived together. Okay. Now, what is the importance of this very law? Basically, it helps us perceive things around us in terms of whether they are related or not. Okay. You must have seen these beautiful images in our Republic Day parade. Look at this very video, which basically tells you when different aircrafts, which you basically know that these are different aircrafts, but when they make a formation, they are then perceived together because they perform similar function, they move together, and therefore, even though they are separate aircrafts, they are not viewed so. Now, given the fact that based on the quality of the stimuli, based on our individual preparedness and preferences, and also based on the laws that govern our perceptual principles, we provide meaning to what we have sensed from the world. Now, based on what we have sensed from the world and depending on the appropriateness of the meaning that we have provided, we many a times tend to select certain inputs and retain them in our conscious experience for a little longer period of time. So, what we do, we tend to divide things into what would be in our focus and what we would keep it on the margin. This is what is called as attention. Because we have a limited duration assigned for this very course. So, we will not go into the details of attention, but I must tell you that the recommended book, if you go through that, you will find a whole in depth description of the process related to attention.